into another episode of What's Bruin. It's a little later than normal, but the Bees are on the West Coast. We got 2 hours until game time. It's Chris and Gayle. Hey, Gayle, you excited for this late game?
Sure. Against the Ducks? Absolutely. At least it won't be as boring as the Carolina game.
Oh, my God. I almost fell asleep during that one.
Well, we were kind of talking about it, offline. It's just they're so boring to watch.
So brutal. I really don't want to play them in a 7-game series just because I actually want to watch and enjoy the series.
Yeah. Let's not get ahead of ourselves yet.
Dom says it's 8 p.m. and there better be chocolate chip cookies. Actually, Dom, I tried to send you cookies a while back, but anyway, there's always cookies. We like cookies.
Dom, happy birthday.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. I knew there was something else on my list of things that I didn't remind myself for, but yes, happy birthday to you, Dom.
Absolutely love the picture of you and your grandkids. Fabulous photo.
And hopefully your family is all well during your birthday as well. But yes, 8 p.m. Bruins talk, cookies. Hopefully Kevin's around too. Yeah, there's so many places we could start. I don't know where I want to go first.
With you, obvious. Let's start with McAvoy.
Okay. Ouch.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I can say is ouch.
Yeah.
Did you see the super slow motion where you could see his teeth come out?
Yes. Talk about spitting chiclets.
Right. I think I texted you when that happened and I said, that looks like a broken jaw.
Right. Well, especially because Nesson didn't replay that angle. It was only Sportsnet. And thankfully, Sportsnet put it online because us in the U.S. didn't get to see it.
Sportsnet gets the best angles.
Well,
shame on Nesson for not including it.
Well, but they would have to get, so where their cameras are, that's the thing that people don't understand. Nesson has their own cameras, and where they're getting their cameras may not be the same angle that other venues get. Trust me, I've been in the truck. I know.
I know. I'm just saying there's got to be a different angle that Nesson did not send out there from all the cameras that they have in there. There's got to be something.
But it could be that, I mean, certain sports don't like to show certain injuries, so that could have been part of it.
That could be it too.
I can't speak for my former employer anymore.
And I wouldn't ask you to.
Yeah.
That's just it. It's unfair to you. It's unfair to them. Right. Like you said, the cameras are everywhere, but Sportsnet always gets the best angles. They do. It is what it is. Nesson, pick up your game a little bit. I think it's fair for me to say that at least.
Yeah.
All right. So he underwent surgery today. Yeah. We still don't have a timetable for his return.
Well, we don't even know what surgery he had.
Well, right. I think, I know some people are sitting there going, why not? Why don't we know? Why don't we know? How much swelling do you think his face is under right now?
Right.
Like, they're not going to have an idea until the swelling goes down. As soon as the swelling went down, they said, let's go in with a knife and fix everything and bubble it up some more. So, like, we probably won't know until what, Friday? Maybe?
I mean, I guess it depends on when the surgeon feels comfortable talking about it, because that's usually how the Bruins roll, right? They usually will not put out a statement until the surgeon is ready to discuss the actual procedure. The fact that Sturm said it in his availability today, that he was home recuperating from facial surgery, that's all anyone knows right now.
Yeah, and ironically, all he said was facial surgery, not jaw surgery. So it could be the way that it hit him. It was like orbital bone. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what it was. It could be way worse than we think. It could be just simple. He had to have some teeth removed. And,
it could have been that it shattered his cheek. And while they can't do anything to fix it, they had to go in and take out pieces of his face.
Kenny, all I know is I'm throwing the cage back on my helmet during beer league.
And he's not, we were talking about this at work today. Like McAvoy is used to wearing a full shield because he played, NCAA hockey.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more facial injuries if the league didn't put it. I mean, because you got to think about it. At first, it was, the no helmet, then it went to helmets, then it was the shield was grandfathered, and like the half shield, the visor, so it could now it's neck guards. I mean, it as players get bigger and stronger and equipment changes and the game gets faster and the shots get harder. I mean, it could happen down the road.
Oh yeah. There was a goalie podcast that I was listening to just the other day too. And obviously we also had Jeremy Swayman get hit on the dome with a shot, and he was real freaking lucky that helmet was on because he got the nice little elbow there to knock it off.
Right.
But I mean, think about just the technology that has already been advanced in the game when it comes to like skates and the cut-free socks and stuff like that. But like, we haven't done any advancement in the technology for a goaltender's buckle to keep their helmet on. I granted we haven't really needed to, but like, at the other
thing is too, though, is that sometimes you want the helmet to come off.
Well, that's the thing is you got to balance the safety of, how many times have we talked about a goaltender who's like visibly shaking it off, but you're like, they're shaking it off because it's dislodged and they can't see, which is more unsafe than knocking it off.
Right.
So, there's got to be somebody who's looking at the advancement in just the whole helmet and all that stuff. And
I think you said, goaltenders will absolutely, because of the full mask, have a say in how that develops as well.
Especially if they start to get penalized for it coming off.
Right.
And obviously there's different scenarios, if like with Swayman, if that just gets knocked off, that's not on him because he got hit with an elbow.
Right.
But if he shakes it off, there's a little bit difference there. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be hard to determine why a goaltender is shaking off a helmet, right?
That's what I mean. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of, I mean, we're still trying to figure out what goalie interference is for the most part.
What I was going to say too is when they're deeming it okay for a goalie to dislodge his own net, you know what I mean? Like, those rules have changed over the years.
Yep. And then even just, what was it, 2 weeks ago, we had the overtime goal in Nashville where the goal was knocked off and it wasn't anywhere near where it should have been. And they still called the goal. Correct call. But, it's going to have growing pains. But ultimately, in the long term, the league will be safer because of it. I would not be surprised if, because he's used to a cage, he's used to the facial protection, McAvoy pushes to come back sooner with facial protection.
Well, and we're again, a ways it away also depends on the injury.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're just a ways away from it.
If it's closer to the eye, he may not, because his vision could be, like if his eye, you know what I mean? So I think it really depends on what the actual surgery and injury is. Like, it was different with Char when his jaw was wired shut. Number one, it was the playoffs. Number two, it was his jaw. It didn't impede his eyes, his eyesight, the movement of his face. Like, it didn't impede the way he could play the game. So
now,
I think that, because a lot of people, as soon as they saw Charlie take the puck, a lot of people like incoming Char. You and I talked about it. And obviously it depends on the injury. If it's an injury like that, then yes, I can see McAvoy being like, all right, let's go. This isn't impeding the way I can play the game. Again, it's not the playoffs either. So
I'll put it this way.
There's no reason to rush players back.
I think regardless of what the injury is, he's out for at least 3 weeks. That's my thought. One, you have no reason to rush him back because he's not a 38-year-old pushing through a playoff run. It's a very different, and yes, I agree with what Ian's saying. Chara is a different breed, but McAvoy does have a little bit of that in him where if he could play through it, he would, but there's no need to rush him. You're 20 games into an 80-game season. you're going to likely make the playoffs. You want McAvoy for the playoffs. Let him get healthy.
And the other thing is, too, is yes, Chara is definitely a different breed when it comes to health and his body and everything else. But again, it was the playoffs. It was the 2019 Stanley Cup. So it's not like...
Wasn't it the finals that happened in, too?
Yes, right. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So it's not like... It's not game 23.
There's a difference between I've got 80 games left in my season,
right,
and I have 3 games, and if we win,
right,
I could contemplate retirement.
right. So, and that's the thing, like you look back in 2013, game 6, Patrice Bergeron against Chicago when he had no business putting on the skates with his punctured lung, broken collarbone, fractured rib, all the things that he had wrong. If it was the regular season, he would have been in the hospital, not on the ice.
Yeah. Ian says, if I took that shot, I would retire. A lot of people would. Yeah. And I think it's going to be at least 3 weeks minimum. Yeah. We'll get a little bit more clarity once, like you said, they kind of go through what the surgery was and, they know how bad the recovery is actually going to be. We know that Michael Callahan was recalled from Providence to come on the road trip with him.
Perfect move. You can disagree. I think it's a perfect move.
I'm saying I'm not sure. I can't disagree with it because he's absolutely been the best defender in Providence other than when it was Jonathan Aspero. But now you only have 2 right shot defensemen on your entire roster. You only have Jokiharju and Peak. Now that might be enough because Aspera can play on the right side, and I know he was partnered with Zadorov on the top pairing. You got 2 left shots there. Like, it might be enough. I just don't know. And so I was a little surprised we didn't see a right shot like Billy Sweezy get called up.
Okay, but I'm going to play devil's advocate. So Hampus Lindholm moved up to the first power play unit, and Lohrei moved up to the second power play unit, right?
Yeah.
That's where your defensemen are taking most of their shots, is on the power play, than on, moving the puck up ice. Yeah, you're getting some movement off the blue line, shots-wise, but not as much as you are on the power play. So I don't think it matters that much. We're not talking forwards. We're talking the blue line. And I think with McAvoy out, the biggest concern was defense, not offense.
Right. And that's why I'm saying, like, I don't disagree with the move because, again, he's been their best defenseman all around in Providence, one of their best. He's also, when it comes to the remaining guys that you could call up, far and away the next man up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious because we've only seen spot games here, spot games there. I think we've only seen 2 games this year where they have 4 left shot D. Again, it might not be an issue. I'm just not sure that it won't be an issue. So I want to see how it unfolds. I'm not saying it was the wrong move. I don't know. Like, defensively, I think if you have, what was the third pair? Callahan and Jokiharju?
No. So tonight, the lineup. I
remember what it was.
So tonight's lineup, I already put the lineups out. Hold on.
I know I saw it was from practice too. And that's the other thing is that they have a little bit more practice time right now, like the last couple days since McAvoy's injury. So it might not be an issue.
So it's Zadorov and Aspero, Lindholm and Jokiharju, Lohrei and Peak. He moved Peak down instead because Peak's been playing with Lindholm.
I don't hate that. I want to see how the pairings look tonight. Zadorov has played with left shots before, so I don't think it will be a massive problem. You're still going to miss McAvoy because he's Charlie freaking McAvoy, but I don't think it was the wrong move. I'm just not sure it was 100% the right move. Does that make sense?
But who else are you thinking?
So if you had to go with a right shot, since he came back from his injury, Soderstrom has been playing really well, and Billy Sweezy has been very consistent all season. So I wouldn't have been shocked to see one of those 2 guys come up. Now, like I said, Mike Callahan is far and away the next man up when you think of it from that perspective. So I don't not understand the decision. And also, you're on a 4-game road trip. Try it with the 4D where you're at right now. If you need the extra right shot and you need to send Callahan back down, you can do that when you get back. Like, it's not the end of the world to try this for a couple games. You're second place in the standings.
Thing is, too, is Callahan's already been up and playing in this system.
Right. I don't hate the move. Like, that's the thing, is I don't hate the move. I'm just not sure it was the right one.
Oh, Dom.
No, I'm not, Dom. No. Let me counter Dom's point here, though. He says I'm making the same argument as if what if Swayman got hurt. No. How long have the Bruins done left shot on left side, right shot on right side? How long have the Bruins done that? And how long have they made sure that they have that set up as much as possible? That is what they really want all the time. So that's how they operate. Now, I'm willing to give this a shot. I'm just saying I don't know how good it's going to actually be. Let's find out.
Well, the other thing is it could be effort and consistency. You know what I mean? Maybe Marco Sturm, because now we're shifting.
I was just going to say, could be. Because we know that affected who didn't go to Providence.
Right. So that could be part of it. I love the fact that Marco Sturm is, what's the word?
Blunt?
No.
Honest?
No. Accountable.
Yes.
The accountability that he holds the players to is refreshing.
Just real quick, Dom says Callahan, Asparat, and Zadorov can all play the right. I'm not saying they can't. You're already downgrading from McAvoy to anybody else. So now you're downgrading from a right shot to a left shot. I'm just curious to see how well they do it at the NHL level. That's where I'm at. So, let's see. It's a new coach. I don't carry what they did under Cassidy, Julian, or Baldy.
You know what, Dom, I agree with you, because I think seeing Sturm and hearing Sturm before games, after games, calling players out, but not in a bad way. You know what I mean? Like, he's not throwing players under the bus, but he's holding players to a certain standard. And he's doing it.
Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. Sorry.
Like, it's refreshing to hear him say players other than 88, 91, and 27 have to step up. It's refreshing for him to come out and say why John Beecher was put on waivers for purpose of assignment. Now, we all know he didn't make it to Providence. He got picked up by Calgary. I wish him nothing but the best of luck. But there's a reason they chose to put Beecher on waivers than Vial. And here we go.
Didn't even make it to Providence. He didn't even make it past Calgary first on the waiver wire, which is fine.
Well, Calgary, but you know what? Calgary needs the help. And if it gives Beecher that fresh start, and it gives him the opportunity to play on a consistent basis, then no offense, take the $900,000 and run with it.
Oh, for sure. No qualms on Beecher for doing it, for Calgary for taking him. The other night was the first game for their fourth line center. Beecher's pretty much an automatic upgrade.
Right.
Like, they're dead last in the league. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do going forward. And Beecher was the right guy to cut. Like, yeah. And I've been saying that since before Marco Sturm's comments about him, but also with Sturm, especially with that quote, like, some people are going to look at it and be like, oh, he's kicking a dead horse while, whatever, like while he's down or whatever. It's very clear when Marco Sturm says something to the media, it's been said over and over and over again to the player, not just one-on-one, but in the locker room, in closed doors. And he's basically told him, like, I have told you this so many times, it's getting out. Like, I don't care anymore. because you're not doing what you need to do.
Well, and because it's not like Sturm hasn't said it from the beginning about players getting on the bus.
Yeah, well, we know someone who wasn't on the bus.
He's talked about it from day one. He's talked about it from jump, that the players have to buy in. Now, we all gave everyone a little bit of leeway, learning a new system, new coach, everything like that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Dom. We talked about it. Never would have re-signed Beecher.
I didn't have a problem with them signing him for $900,000.
I didn't hate it.
So because you and I have talked about this, I was hoping we were gonna get the Beecher from that first year where he came up. He played. They sent him back down to Providence. When he came back up, he played well enough to stay up here. Last year, we didn't see the same Beecher that played over those 53 games the first season. He played 78 games last year, I think it was.
Something like that. He had the hand injury and he ended up having surgery on it. So that's why when they said we're going to re-sign him for $900,000, I'm like, all right, like, let's see where he comes in at. But
and that's where Marco Sturm's comments come into play. New coach, new opportunity, and he's right, 100% right. It comes down to the player, whether or not the player wants to be there. And obviously, you can't use the excuse while he was in and out of the lineup. Mason Lohrei got benched. Casey Middlestat got benched. Morgan Geekie didn't get benched, but got moved down. He called out David Pastrnak.
Dom was on you. I got to pull this one up so Kenny can go back at Dom. But Dom, he's incredible at face-offs. Don't tell Dom I said this. No, Kenny, he is absolutely going to know that you said it because he, like I, know where you're coming from with that. And let's see. Ian says Beecher should have been a trade piece, not a waiver loss. No one's trading for John Beecher. No one's trading for him because everyone looks at him and says, he's the guy you're putting on waivers. And guess what?
Thing is, if this was late in the year, if it was closer to the trade deadline, then yeah. But you're no team is trading for him this early in the season because he hasn't shown anything.
And Dom says, Kenny, don't make me come down there and slap you.
Dom, you have my permission to go and slap Kenny. Although I might have to slap you for your Swayman getting hurt comment. Are we gonna, keep talking about
this? Is just a show of everybody slapping each other for making someone else pissed.
Listen, I'll do my love hearts.
And eventually do it. I don't know. You got to do something and it'll eventually keep trying. There they are. There they are. No, it just, I wouldn't have been upset if they didn't re-sign him regardless of the hand injury. But also to those who say he was in and out of the lineup, he played 6 games. Vial played 7. All right. Vial in his 7 games did so much more. And even though he's not a goal scorer, neither is Beecher. You're not playing John Beecher or Jeffrey Vial to score goals. That's what you're playing David Pastrnak for. That's what you're playing Morgan Geekie for. All right. To Kenny's comment, he can win faceoffs. Yeah, okay. He wins 3 more than he loses out of every 100. It's not a big deal. And guess what? Let me ask you this. You have a faceoff to win in the offensive zone with a minute left, and you're trying to get a goal. Who are you putting out there for the faceoff?
He's not on the ice.
Who are you putting out for the faceoff? You're not putting John Beecher out. He's probably your 4th, 5th, or 6th option at best.
Right.
And if you're in the defensive zone and you're trying to protect a 2-goal lead or a 1-goal lead,
he's still not your first option.
He's still not your first 2 choices.
No.
So,
he's not even your first 3 choices.
At best, he's 4, 5, or 6.
Right.
At best. Because I want Elias out there. I want Zacha out there. I'd rather have Corrali out there. I'd rather have Middlestat. I'd rather have Geekie out there.
Even
Husnadinov out there. Hell, probably even David Pastrnak. Honestly. I always love it when Dom takes a shot at the Leafs. The Leafs would have given a first for Beecher. Oh wait,
can we talk about since John brought up the Leafs? My God, Leafs fan Leafs fans just they're so pissed that they don't have Marner as a punching bag anymore. So they've moved on to Brandon Carlo.
Yeah. Some of them legitimately want to fire Craig Berube too.
Yeah.
Which, like, why? You were so enamored to have him last year.
Yeah.
And
it's hilarious though. Like, they don't have Marner as a punching bag to blame for all their problems. So,
and he wasn't even the problem.
Right, but they
that's the conniption they're
Marner.
having. Let's blame the guy that's not
Marner.
here. They are look, do I feel bad for some Toronto fans, like the reasonable ones? Sure.
I don't feel bad for any Toronto fans.
But for the most part, no. There's like maybe two. Yeah. You know, like, and I'm not saying I feel bad because I want them to win. No. I just think it's funny and you know, I mean, like, do I feel bad for Florida being in 6th in the division? No. Oh, and by the way, E2 Luostarinen just got burnt by his.
If I have to hear one more time about Don Sweeney trading Brad Marchand and him being what he's being this year, I think I might scream.
It's so bad. Also, E2 Luostarinen just got burnt by his grill. Did you see that?
Yes.
He's now, I think he's listed as week to week because he got burnt by his grill. Like, Florida is in it right now. Barkov down, Tkachuk down, Nosek down, Gadjevich down, Kulikov down, Luostarinen down. Like, I don't see a three-peat.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Like Ian said, I wonder why Marner didn't want to re-sign in Toronto. Yeah.
Marner had 1 foot out the door midway through the season, if not before then.
Could you blame him?
No, again.
Exactly.
I wanted Marner. You know that. I talked about it all off season that I was, or before the off season, actually, because I mean, the move happened so quickly. Yeah. I wanted Marner. I love Mitch Marner. I think out of that Toronto Leafs core 4, either Marner or Nylander are the only 2 I would ever wanted to have seen in a Bruins uniform. I would never want to see John Tavares in a Bruins uniform, and I don't want Austin Matthews. William Nylander, can you imagine him and Pasternak together? Holy crap. And then Mitch Marner, he got too much crap.
Geeky Nylander Pasternak. Sorry, we don't have to go to what's brewing after dark.
Yeah, no shit. Sorry, Dom.
I think PG-13 you get 1 swear, so we'll use that one and call it a day.
Plus, it was the S word; it wasn't the other words.
Yeah, it wasn't all the other ones.
I'm good. I need a crown or something. Give me a halo.
The halo. Yeah. Do something there.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, it just so. I just sit here and I go, back to Beecher and Vial. What did Beecher do so well that he was worth being the one that you kept? That's what I want to know. What did he do so well?
Because even if you want to talk about penalty kill, it's still not.
He hasn't reached 10 minutes on the season. He's not playing the penalty kill.
That was one of the reasons that at the beginning of the year, when Beecher got kept over Patra or Beecher got kept over Tufte or whoever, it was, because he plays on the penalty kill. Okay, but
even when he was on the penalty kill, though, he wasn't doing a lot. He wasn't like, when he was out there on the PK, it was a weaker PK than when he was.
Right.
So, like, he didn't help you.
No. Did you see, where is it?
I had someone try to tell me, he's physical. I'm like, did you see how much more physical Vial is?
Yeah.
Like, I know hits isn't the most, like, accurate statistic, but they're not even close. When you look at, like, Vial is averaging, like, 2-3 hits a night. Beecher's at, like, 7 on the season.
Right.
Like, no, he's averaging more than that because he's up in, like, the 30s. So he's played 7 games. He's averaging 24 hits a night almost. I got to go find it. He's not afraid to throw down. We've seen him get up in people's faces. So just because Beecher's got like 2 inches and 5 pounds doesn't mean he's the more physical guy.
Right.
He's got 24 hits, Vial, on the season. And Beecher, just for perspective, has 7. It's not even close.
No, and we're talking 1 game difference. It's not like we're talking that Vial was in the lineup for 18 games and Beecher was only in the lineup for 2. We're talking a 1 game difference.
Right. It's drastic. And I'm not even going to... I saw that. So who goes in when Corrali gets hurt or worn out? Patrick Brown. Let's see what the roster looks like when that happens.
So we were talking about that, John, before we signed on, because we were talking.
That's not even the question.
No,
that's not even the right
but
one
it's
to ask.
But it's close to it. It's close to it. We're talking about because Elias Lindholm is on the trip, so we could see him. We could see him game 2 of the trip, game 3 of the trip, game 4. We don't know. And it could be that he's just there practicing and he doesn't play again till the day after Thanksgiving when the Bruins have their holiday matinee. But with Lindholm on the verge of coming back, odd man out comes off the 4th line.
Yeah.
Because Husadinov, now again, Husadinov might not go all the way down to the 4th line, but I don't see Marco Sturm breaking up Corrali, Jeannot, and Kastelik.
Minton, you mean? Minton, Jeannot, and Kastelik. You said Corrali. Corrali's 4th line center. That's the 3rd line. Minton, yes. Jeannot.
Sorry. Yeah. Husadinov could end up back down on the 4th line where he was the beginning of the season. Or with Casey Middlestat still out and Victor Arvidsson out, Husadinov could go down to the 2nd line.
Yeah.
Because of the way he's earned his right to be on that top line with Pasternak and Geekie right now. So does it make sense to not rush Middlestat back and try Husadinov with Zacha and whether it's Blumel or, he's got room to play. I'm not as worried about the forward group as I am the defensive group long term.
Here's the issue that I have. Because, McAvoy's out for, let's say, a month, right? Before he comes back with a bubble and all that stuff. Fine. Let's say he's out for a month. Well, in around that time-ish, Jordan Harris should be coming back. By that time, you also have Casey Middlestat ideally back. Elias Lindholm comes back. Right now, to get to that point, you specifically mentioned the blue line, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have every blue liner requiring waivers to go down to Providence. Mm-hmm. However, you have until November 25th, I believe is the date, or 2 more games for Jonathan Aspero. He's going to require waivers. You're not pulling him from the lineup if you just bumped him to the first pair with Nikita Zadorov. You have Michael Callahan, who has, I think, 6 days on the roster, 3 games played right now. So if he's up for any significant time, he's going to need to go through waivers. And Jonathan Aspero, who's played 7 games now and has, I want to say, 21 days. I could be off a little bit on that, but he's getting up there on his 30 days for waivers again. Mason Lohrei would need waivers. I know some people have asked about putting him down. What do you do? You're going to see some roster shuffling because
but they're not gonna, if McAvoy's out, they're gonna hold on to 7 defensemen. Right. So until McAvoy needs to come back, you don't worry about that.
It's not an issue on the blue line right now because now you have McAvoy and Harris. Here's the thing though. Because when that decision a week ago, right? A week ago before McAvoy got hurt, it was already going to be a problem and you were likely going to have to carry 8 defensemen. All right.
No.
Now, yes, because
no,
you were going to have to make that decision, and it was going to be Asparat, Harris, who were staying up, because you didn't have to call Callahan up, but you had.
Why? What are you talking about, though?
The Bruins are going to lose someone else to waivers.
Wait,
all right,
but back up. I think. You're saying before McAvoy got injured?
They were going to run into an issue of waivers when Jordan Harris comes back from injury.
That is so far down the road.
All I'm saying is you have to worry about waivers
down the road. Why are we discussing that now?
It got pushed further down the road because of McAvoy's injury.
But it's still, Harris is still not ready. He's not even on the ice yet.
It affects the group, the forward group, because Dom, actually, that would be a question for you. Was Callahan an emergency call-up? I don't know. I thought it was a regular call-up. As far as I'm aware, he's been on the roster for 6 days and played in 3 games. As far as I'm aware, that's gone towards his waiver count.
It just says that the team recalled defenseman Michael Callahan from Providence, according to the press release.
He might be referring to Callahan's first recall, and that one I don't recall being an emergency either. If it is, great memory, Dom, because I don't remember that being the case. And that's fine. Then that means his waiver clock just started, which is good. But my point is you're talking about the forward group being affected. Well, you already have Alex Steeves, who's approaching the 10-game mark, and he will likely get there. All right. Blumel, I'm not that worried about. In fact, I could see him going back down to Providence as soon as they get back from the West Coast trip, unless he really turns things around. Blumel's probably the odd man out on the second line when Elias Lindholm comes back if he comes back on the trip. You could easily do a second line with Zacha between Hustadinov and Steeves. That would be my second line.
It wasn't emergency in October either. It was just because they placed Harris on IR and recalled Callahan.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So
I just went back and found the old press release.
So before McAvoy got hurt, you were already going to have to make a decision whether or not you wanted to carry 8 defensemen.
They never carry 8D. They never carry 8D.
They also never play with lefties, 2 lefties on the same D pairing. So as Dom said, we don't have to carry it over from one coach to the other. So they could have. They were going to have to make a decision either way, whether they carried AD or they put someone on waivers. They were going to have to make that decision. They now have to make the decision on 2 players because 2 defensemen are going to require waivers and 2 forwards will likely require waivers. That's where I'm going with it. So it's going to be an issue. I'm telling you, yes, it's a few weeks away, but how they juggle the lineup and who plays well is going to dictate who gets waived in 4 weeks, in 5 weeks. It's going to be a thing. You can roll your eyes or get a headache all you want because I'm talking about it 4 weeks in advance.
But why are we but we're talking about a month and a half from now, when we haven't even seen what this lineup is going to be long-term without Charlie McAvoy.
We barely know what it's going to look like short-term. But let me ask you this. Is it a bigger problem if they look good, or is it a bigger problem if they look like dog shit without him in the lineup?
Oh, Kenny, it's going down.
Says, Dom slaps me, Gayle slaps Dom, and now Gayle slaps Chris. Let me know if I'm forgetting anyone.
Kenny, I want to slap Chris half the time we're on this podcast. I love him to death, but he's infuriating sometimes.
Here's the thing. When you're looking at it from a hockey perspective, you have to think about that thing going forward, the whole roster. All right? No, you don't have to make the decision today. I agree with you. It's not a decision that you have to make today. All right. But when people are sitting there going, why isn't this move done? Why isn't that move done? Why isn't this move done? You're not going to make a move until you absolutely have to. But right now, over the next 4 weeks, what you need to look for is, do they send Alex Steeves back down before he hits the 10-game mark? How long do they keep Matej Blumel up? What do they do on defense between Callahan, Asperat, and Harris is the other one that was on the bubble coming into the season? Like, how do they handle the next 4 weeks and these players playing in games? Because there are 2 clocks ticking for these players, 10 games played or 30 days. So that's going to tell you where they are at with some of these players. That's what I'm getting at. And no, we're not. We're not generations down the road.
I'm not going to slap you. You're getting love hearts.
This is if we're not talking about when Pasta's kid gets on waivers. Dom says, I understand your point, but if the team is really worried about it, they can work around the waiver thing. They can to a point, Dom. Mm-hmm. The clock will run out before they start getting these players back healthy for most of them. So that's why. But thank you for at least getting where I'm coming from.
I get where you're coming from too, but I don't want to talk about it right now because I haven't even seen. I've seen this much of Blumel.
Yep.
1 game.
I know.
I'm not worried about it after 1 game.
I don't either, but he's only got 9 left. You got a 9 game.
Huh?
I said, you only got 9 games left, and he's on this 4-game road trip. So you're going to blow through half of them on the trip. This road trip's important for Matej Blumel.
Who's to say he's going to be in the lineup every night?
Okay. If he's not, what does that tell you about how they think he's playing? That's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Watch what they do with the lineup.
It's not necessarily that. It could be that if it's 10 games, he only gets 2, then they save 8 games.
Yes, I agree.
It may not have to do. The Bruins don't necessarily go, oh, it's the way they're playing. They also look, don't you think they have people that look at that, as Dom says, that they can work around the waiver thing by going, oh, well, we're going to.
That's exactly the point I'm trying to make. People need to pay attention to how they maneuver around the waivers. That's exactly what I'm saying.
But that's not what you said.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But that's not what you said.
No, I'm outlining why you have to pay attention to it.
But you're going around this without going this way.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Because when I said that they have to worry about it, you rolled your eyes at me.
Because you did. You never.
Kenny, who's slapping who now?
Because you never said until now you have to pay attention to this, this, and this. You went.
I said it 4 times.
No, you didn't. You said, I'm gonna hit you with
Kenny. Who's slapping who now? Never underestimate Evan Gold. I'm not underestimating him. I'm not. All I'm saying is it's worth watching.
I have a headache.
I've had one most of the day, but that's mostly work related. Ian says, I feel like I'm having dinner with my parents. Hey, you know what? At least they waved the right person this time, right?
Right. I mean, and I put on Blue Sky today. I'm here to tell you that it's okay to be upset if your favorite player gets put on waivers or is traded or whatnot. And you have the right to feel that way. But don't be mad if someone else has a different opinion. I am so sick.
Kenny says I'm losing track at this point. I'll have to go back watch the highlights.
Kenny, I'm losing track and I'm on it.
All I know is I'm getting slapped by at least 3 people.
Mm-hmm. Ian may come through here and slap you if he feels like he's watching his parents. No, but seriously, like I know there's people out there that absolutely love John Beecher.
Oh, yeah.
More power to you. Have at it. You can still be his fan, even though he's no longer a Bruin.
Yeah. Enjoy staying up and watching Calgary. Like my only question, like I don't know if it was you or Kenny or who I was talking to, but as soon as he was the one on waivers, my immediate thought was he's going to get claimed. There are just too many teams who
I know
need
you
him.
and I talked about it. Like as soon as I said Beecher's on waivers, you're like, oh, he's gone.
Yeah. I too many teams needed centers. Dom says, by the way, off topic, I had to change the Bruins Canes game from Nesson to the Canes broadcast because dining playbook came on.
Listen, Dom, those of us in the market don't have that choice. Don't throw that in our faces because I would have loved to have done that.
Do you remember? I think it was last season when everyone who was watching the Nesson broadcast missed a goal because they cut to a Chipotle commercial.
I was at that game. And I was like, oh.
You know, I wonder how much Chipotle saw in sales because of that. No one walked away from their TV. That was the only commercial anyone remembers from last year.
That was bad. That was bad.
Oh, it was brutal. Again,
that was brutal. That was
again,
brutal.
Nesson, do better. That's all.
Listen, it's kind of weird because I don't want to sound like a disgruntled former employee, but in the same sense, like I was talking to someone at work, I was talking to someone at my new job, and I'm like, but if I take off my Nesson glasses because I don't have to defend them because they're not my employer anymore, there's a lot of things I could say.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there is, especially being on the other side.
And I'm a little disgruntled because my whole department got cut because they decided they wanted to go podcast and hire all these people, whatever. But my whole department, and like, I don't really go on the website. Every now and again I do, just to see what they're putting out there for Bruins news. And because someone mentioned to me that they weren't putting anything about the Fleet, who, by the way, Nesson is a broadcast partner, and they're not writing stories about the Fleet. But so every once in a while I'll go just to see what the headlines are, what the top stories are. And for the first, I don't know, 6 weeks, there was like no Bruins content.
No, I remember there was a time I went and like the last story they made, I pointed out to you, was like a week old.
Yeah.
I was like, what? And
I'm like, the Bruins own you. You might want to write about them.
Nesson.
But anyways,
pick it up.
Let's not go on a Nesson tangent.
Be better. Well, my tangent is just about the app. You pay $30 a month for that? Really? Come on.
Well, I got it for free when I worked for Nesson.
Okay, but I'm sure that it was still the same crap product that I'm paying for.
Yeah.
Nesson has a website. I hope I never come across it. Tom, you probably won't. It's not getting over the border.
Tom, you know that Nesson has a website because you corrected me on Twitter because I had a typo in my article.
Kenny says people don't watch Dining Playbook, so they brought it to us.
Oh, come on. You don't like Jenny and who is it? Bob? Who is it? Jenny and Bob?
I don't know. The only one I know of is the Fisher guy.
Charlie Moore. The Mad Fisherman? Oh, my God. That was horrendous.
God, I sit there and I go, if we could run content all day, we'd probably outdo Nesson. Can't be that hard.
No. Anyway. Moving on.
Anyway, the team that they're supposed to be covering, the Bruins.
Yeah. But let's just completely move on.
Beecher wasn't getting through, and I truly believe that if they waived Jeffrey Vielle, he wouldn't have gotten through. I don't think he would have gotten through.
Anyone that they would have waived in that bottom six, if they'd plucked anyone out of that bottom six, in or out of the lineup, they weren't getting through. Calgary was primed to take a forward from a team that is successful.
I don't think Calgary would have taken Vielle. I just would have been surprised if a team like Montreal didn't take him and put a claim in on him, or a team like Ottawa, a team that you've recently gone in and out physicaled in a very extreme way, who knows they're going to have to go through you in the playoffs, just so that they have that body to go after you. So Kenny says, Gayle, can you get me one of the sailor hats from the Fleet game? Those things are badass. Props to their game day and marketing department.
It's the first game, right?
Something like that.
I will be there opening day in the press box. I will be pretty much at every Fleet game. But I will definitely talk to Faith about it.
Dom
see if I can get one.
If he wants to know if he can tell us something Kenny will like, I'd be intrigued by that. And I like Ian's comment. No offense, but can we put Nesson on waivers? The only reason why I say no to that, Ian, is because they carry the Bruins games. It's the only thing they're doing well. I guess the Red Sox broadcasts aren't bad either. I just don't watch them. I just don't watch them. Although, speaking of Kenny's comment about the marketing department, have you seen the duck masks that the Ducks are giving out a lot of?
No. Their
marketing department is going hog wild on duck masks this year. And it's hilarious, but they're everywhere. Granted, I don't know how much you stay up and watch the Ducks, but they're really trying to lean into the duck bill. We've already had the argument. I've already been slapped, Kenny. I don't know why you're apologizing for siding with her the rest of the stream.
And for those not watching but listening, love hearts.
Anyway.
Dom, so what are you going to tell us?
Yeah, what are you going to share? I miss story time with Dom when Dom would tell his stories.
Let's go back to I do want to go back to one thing about Nesson. Unobstructed views. Watching Andy Raycroft, Patrice Bergeron, and Tuukka Rask, when they start talking about the actual game, that is the best thing ever.
I hate to say it, but it's better than the regular broadcast.
Oh, it's 100 times better. And not that Brick's knowledge isn't good, because Brick is good, but Brick doesn't get the opportunity to talk because Surratt won't shut up. But anyway.
Well, he's doing play-by-play, and he's used to radio play-by-play, so he's used to talking a lot more.
I know.
So, I try to cut him a break, but...
I know, but what I was saying is that, when Rask and Raycroft really get into, the goalies, and then they'll ask Bergeron, well, as a shooter, and the way he breaks it down, that is, if any Bruins fan has cable and can watch Nesson Plus, or has the app and can watch Unobstructed Views, you need to watch that when they're on. Granted, even the Carolina game, they were kind of boring because the game was boring. But at least
that's not on them.
But that's not on them. But they also, we got the three of them as the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Not a huge thing, but it just, the way they do that broadcast, it's also, what I love about it too is you can tell their body language isn't hidden. And you saw it a few times. I think I think last year when Zadorov's stick broke in overtime, that was a real big one too. But because they're rooting for the team. Yes. Okay. The Charlestown Chiefs.
Yes.
Yes, you have that for sure. None of that stinking root beer. So Dom says, Vlasic Bonar has spent a few games with the SHL team, but sat on the bench all game. So I asked his agent what is up, and he said he won't sign a pro contract so he can come to the NCAA. I bet you I know someone else who really likes that news. And that would be Low Quality Bruins fan. Ian can't wait to see him over here in the US, I'm sure. And having him in the NCAA, it'll make him pretty happy too. So But yes, Kenny, I agree with you. I love where that would be going because there are so many good teams that he could be on in the NCAA. And if he is refusing to sign a pro contract, what does that tell you about the NCAA and where that's going? So,
all right.
22
games in.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on Marco Sturm? He's
the right man for the job. That's the only way I can put it. We talked about it earlier. He is holding players accountable, but he's doing it in a way that is professional, that is clearly behind closed doors first. No one heard. So you remember that clip from Behind the B from the Ducks game where he goes off on the team in the locker room, the infamous one that's now out there. That didn't granted, some of that's on the show for not having released the clip until they did. But we could have easily heard about that rant the next day, 2 days later. That's all staying in-house. It's all staying in-house until it is released by a leader. And every single person who is speaking on anything like that, they're being honest, but they're being calculated honest. And that starts with Sturm. Because coming into the season, what did we all say about the press conference with ownership and upper management? It felt like the most honest press conference in a long
100%.
time.
100%.
And yes, Dom, Steve Spott has been a massive addition to the power play. And that was the guy that Marco Sturm brought in. So for Marco Sturm to have nailed his coaching hire, even though he only got one, he hit a home run on that one. And he has pulled every string correctly along the way.
Even though he only had that one hire, the fact that he got his other coaches to buy into his system as well. That Chris Kelly had been with the previous coaches. It goes to show you. I mean, obviously, you can't talk about Goalie Bob because Goalie Bob is Goalie Bob. You know what I mean? But you look at the coaches on the bench, they're buying into it just like the players are.
Yeah, and I like as well, I'm glad you mentioned Goalie Bob too, because we've seen in the past coaches pass blame, if you will, is probably the right way to put it, to Goalie Bob.
Oh, that was only Jim Montgomery. You can say it. It was only Baldy.
We've seen some coaches maybe take more accountability than they should when it comes to goaltending decisions.
Bruce Cassidy.
So I think Marco Sturm...
Why aren't you saying their names? It's not like they're going to fire you. Jim Montgomery, Bruce Cassidy. Come on. Bruce Cassidy had too much piss and vinegar as a coach when it came to his players. And Jim Montgomery had no accountability when it came to his players. We can say that.
I think Sturm is the right mix. And it's been working well. So I think he is the perfect blend right now of Cassidy and Baldy.
I don't think he's a blend. I think he's Marco Sturm.
Well, I meant as far as his style. His style is a blend between the two, and he has found the right balance, and he's doing it his way. That's the best way to put it.
So speaking of, but you brought up
situation.
Ian. Before we get to that, you brought up Ian from Short Shift. When I was listening to their pod last week, stellar pod, by the way. If you don't listen to them, you should give them a listen because they're phenomenal.
Dom put the grandson to bed for that one.
Yeah. But they had
what's Bruin After Dark?
Thomas. It was Thomas, Ian, and Andrew wasn't on. They had oh my god. Ace, thank you. I'm drawing. I kept wanting to say Two Pad Stack.
Ace from Two Bad Stack,
which also, again, part of the pod family. Two pad
stack.
Thank you. But so one of the things that they brought up, and I was like, it really hit the nail on the head because it's so true. They were talking about Andrew Peeke, right? And I don't remember if it was Ian or Ace. I don't remember which one of them said it, but one of them said that what they love most about Andrew Peake's game this year. I'm not yelling, Kevin. What they love about Andrew Peake's game this year is that you're not hearing his name on the broadcast,
which is exactly the role and what was always so good about Brandon Carlo.
Right. Like you'd almost forget that they were playing because they were just out there doing their jobs.
Now, that being said, and I will say I agree with Court Lalonde a bit. There have been times where Andrew Peeke has been massively out of position, but so was everyone else. So like,
right, but
it wasn't entirely on him.
But that was during the 6-game losing streak.
He still does it once in a while, but it doesn't come back to bite him in the ass the same way that it did during that 7-game streak.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like you could say that about the entire team.
Exactly.
When they went on the winning streak, however, when their defense tightened up and everyone was playing better. Dom, I think you mean love, not live.
Yeah.
So.
Let me see. Do you see them going on a win streak at this point or a losing streak?
So let's talk about this road trip. What's your prediction?
I think
you're on a 4-game road trip, 3 out west, 1 in New York.
I think tonight ends up being an OT loss, their first OTL of the season. The Ducks are just on fire, and I know how much you hate their coach. I know it. They're playing so well. I'd be willing to bet it's Dostal in net again. He's playing outrageous. They just had a come from behind win where against oh crap, who was it? I want to say it was Seattle, but that's not right.
Utah.
Yes, it was Utah. Thank you. I'm thinking of the colors.
Yeah, it was Utah, and it was an overtime win, 3-2.
4.1 seconds left in regulation to tie it.
And I despise Joel Quenneville.
I know you do. But the players are the ones who are doing the work. So, oh dear God, Kenny, no. I know where he's going with it. So I think they get their first OTL tonight. I'm going to ignore Kenny, and we'll come back to that in a minute. The Kings, I think, are beatable. I just don't know if after the OTL in Anaheim, you get that win in LA. I'm hoping for 5 points on this trip. That's what I'm hoping for. Because the Sharks are going to be tough to play against too.
Well, any team's going to be tough to play against.
Yeah, I just think that the speed and the skill that the Ducks and the Sharks have, but
the Bruins also have a lot more youth now because of the injuries, so they have a little bit more speed. They may not have the skill of Malcolm Celebrini and stuff like that, but I think a lot of it. I think it's going to depend on how well this defense plays without McAvoy.
That's the worry.
And how Sturm reacts. Like, how long does he experiment with Peeke down on the third pairing, Yoki Haru up on the second pairing? Like, does he move people around mid-game? If they're, you know what I mean? It depends on. So, I think that the Bruins culture is rearing its head, right? After that first long streak of losing. I think that they definitely have the mentality of we're not going to have that type of streak again.
Right.
So they beat Montreal. They lost to Carolina. Do they lose against Anaheim and come back and win against the Kings? Do they lose to Anaheim? Do they win against Anaheim, lose, win? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't know.
That's why I'm saying, like, 4 games, possible 8 points, come away with 5, and it's a win.
Right.
Because
they
of how
can't
banged you
come home the way they did that first road trip, winless on the road trip.
No. I think at a minimum, they get 1 game. At a bare minimum, they get 1.
I think it also depends on when they get Lindholm back.
Yes. The lineup is going to be huge.
If Lindholm, because we know Lindholm's not playing tonight, right? But if Lindholm plays on the West Coast, if they get him back against the Sharks,
that's a big boost.
That's a huge boost. It's a huge boost.
It also, like you said, the defense without McAvoy, how long do they deal with things like that? I would not be surprised if Lorei ended up sitting out another game. You know,
I don't know. The way he's playing
really well, and he's a puck mover, and you're going to need that.
That's why he didn't get put on waivers, and that's why John Beecher got put on waivers, because he responded from being a healthy scratch and has played so much more. And again, the other part to it, he's not on the top pairing. They moved him down
in the third
He's
pair.
not playing the minutes of a top pair. He's playing the minutes of what he should be playing.
Yeah, if they can keep him to that 15 to 17 minute a night, he will be just fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to go off and look like Cale Makar. He will be fine.
Yeah.
And that's all you need from him.
Yeah.
You need steady. And that's the other reason why when it comes to the decision to put a player like Beecher on waivers, you know what you're getting in Vial. You don't always know what you're getting from Beecher because he has that ability to take it to another level, but he just doesn't.
Right.
And that's part of where Kenny's comment comes in. I'd take Tomasino over Tufte, but at the same time, I'd rather see Lysell get a shot. Someone tweeted at me that the other day.
I was like, why is it in quotes? Who said that?
Because
who said
obviously someone on Twitter who just didn't know what they were talking about.
But is it a random person on Twitter or someone we all know on Twitter? Because I want to drag them if it's someone we all know.
It is not someone that we know.
Damn.
No, but I can send someone. I can send you the thread though. It went back and forth. You know me, and Kenny, you can attest to this. Dom probably can attest to this. Last season, I was talking about how good Riley Tufte was playing in Providence and how he deserved a shot in Boston. I don't hate the fact that they've made him wait for it. I think he'll be better because of it. But Tufte, Corrali, and Easimont is a fantastic fourth line for this team.
Well, it's funny, though, because everyone, when they called him up and he got put on the fourth line, everyone's like, oh, put our leading goal scorer from Providence, our leading point scorer from Providence on the fourth line. That makes sense. It's like, but again, who is he pushing out in the top six?
Dom, I deny anything I can attest to. If people are complaining that Tufte got put on the fourth line.
You mean if?
No, to the people who are. Can you, instead of smack them, can you just strangle them?
Sure.
And shake them and scream at them, go watch Providence? Because Tufte scores the tough goals, the dirty goals, and he thrives doing it. All right. He scores from the high danger areas, which is what the Boston team needs right now more than anything. All right. They need guys who can score dirty goals.
Yeah.
And no, I will admit he is not as fast, not by a lot, but not as fast as Corrali. He is not as fast as Isimont, but that's not always a bad thing. You need the guy who's trailing. That's something that he texted. I sent him the text when it came through, and he texted me, "I love this. I'm just gonna argue through morons on Twitter through you." Just you got to watch Providence first of all. Then they tried to tell me that Beecher was significantly faster than Tufte, which he's not. He's a little bit faster, but not.
Oh, wait,
and it doesn't matter.
Hold that thought. Hold on.
What?
No, keep talking. I need to find something. No, go ahead. I need to find something because of what you just said.
It's not that he's not. Speed doesn't matter if you can't put the puck in the net. How many times did we see Beecher blow past someone and screw up on the shot? So much. He does not have offense in his game once he crosses the red line. It's just gone. So, I mean, the red line and then the blue line after that. So, Tufte can score. And this kid was also trying to come at me and tell me that it had to be Fabien Lysell because Fabien Lysell was playing better. He's the better scorer. All these things. Lysell's been benched twice recently. He was kicked out of practice yesterday and forced to watch the end from the stands. I don't know if you caught that from Mark Diver. Did you see that tweet?
Yeah.
So, like, Dom, I will 100% tell people that you had a fantastic article today. I mentioned it. I don't remember if it was here with you, Gayle, or if it was on a Thursday show with Kenny, but we were talking about Lysell and we were talking about Brett Harrison. And Dom did a great article today about the two because they were from the exact same draft. And when's the last time you heard people complain and moan that Brett Harrison has not been called up from Providence? The only reason why people give a flying rat's behind that Fabien Lysell has not gotten certain opportunities is because he was a first-round pick. That's it. If he was picked any other round, no one would care. They both have offensive upside oozing from their abilities. It's can they figure everything else out? And as Dom points out, maybe one of them actually is. So, did you find what you're looking for?
No.
Oh. Kenny says, damn, can't type for where is Grammarly when you need it. What is it that you were looking for?
It was so first of all, Beecher was only 0 for 3 at the dot this year.
Only 0 for 3, yeah. Which means, hold on, what does that tell you about how Marco Sturm feels about him at the dot? He doesn't want him taking faceoffs.
No, there was something about his time, his speed, because you brought up speed, and someone wrote about it, and I can't remember who. I thought it was Fluto, but I can't find it. But he lost speed.
Beecher?
Yeah. He's
not that much faster than VL right now or Tufte at this point. He has been faster than he is now, but it's noticeable. And I don't know, maybe it's effort.
There it is. So this is from Fluto.
When did he write it?
Huh?
When did he write it?
It was before he got claimed, actually. It was when Bruin center Johnny Beecher a waivers assignment and a frank evaluation. I love Fluto. So, anyways,
Fluto's great.
The 6'3", 220-pounder has the size every coach likes. He skated with an effortlessness that caught opponents by surprise with how quickly he closed. Teammates used to remark at how easy Beecher made his speed look. On March 14th, 2024, the then rookie topped out at 23.64 miles per hour. This placed him in the 98th percentile in the league. But Beecher's biggest asset has gone elsewhere. This year, he maxed out at 21.90 miles per hour on November 4th.
Is that from NHL Edge?
No, it's from The Athletic. It's from Fluto.
No, I know, but doesn't NHL Edge track speed or something?
Oh, I don't know. He does. He doesn't cite it. He didn't cite it. He just.
I'll see if I can find it.
There's no link out. Like most will say because will give where they got that number from, but I don't know where he got that.
What was the number though? The speed at Beecher topped out at
21.90.
Tufte is topped out at 20.32, according to NHL Edge. And just for the giggles of it, Jeffrey Vial 21.10. So minimal difference between speed for Vial and Beecher. So you can't even use speed as a reason to have kept him anymore.
Right. Especially
when the speed only matters if you do something when you get there first. Like Vial, even if he gets there at the same time as opponent, he's been more physical and has won the puck battles. Beecher could get there first by half a second and still lose the puck battle because he wasn't playing with physicality. Kevin's jumped in, though. He says, since our last discussion, I must say the Bruins are surprising me with their resiliency. I'm sure the whole second place in division is also a little bit of a surprise to you too, Kevin. Just saying, maybe a little. Kenny says, well, to be fair, people cry about Merkulov all the time, and he is an undrafted free agent. Kenny, people whine about everything this team does. There's a reason why their favorite player is the backup goaltender. Although right now they hate both goaltenders equally, their favorite goaltender is Michael DiPietro.
Well, Bruins fans always hate their goaltender. They have a rational hate for their goaltenders.
Kevin says it has to be a mix of the coaching as well as a weak conference, but on paper, this team should be nowhere near the top of the conference.
Well, to be fair, in the conference, there's 6 out of 16 teams in the conference.
Yeah. They're behind the Islanders, Pittsburgh, Detroit, New Jersey, and Carolina.
Right. But they're only behind Pittsburgh and the Islanders because the game's at hand. They have the same amount of points as Pittsburgh and New York.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because I keep hearing, as I think, because Kevin said this, keep hearing how weak the Atlantic is. Do you think the Atlantic is that weak? Or obviously we know Toronto is a disaster. Florida's banged up till there's no tomorrow. We already talked about how injured they are. Ottawa's pretty damn banged up themselves. They don't have Tkachuk still. They don't have Shabbat. They don't have...
Yeah, he said on his podcast he wants to be back by American Thanksgiving.
Tkachuk?
Yeah. Brady Tkachuk said on his podcast that he has an appointment coming up and he's hoping to get cleared to be able to be playing by American Thanksgiving, which is next week.
Which is fine, but they've still been without him for a month.
Right. No. I'm just saying that he's close to being back.
Right, which means watch out for Ottawa.
Right.
Tampa Bay they're in a transition. They're still trying to get younger and that sort of thing to try to keep their window open. They'll be interesting to watch at the trade deadline. But anyway, we all knew Montreal was going to be good, but they're young and raw and still learning to win. Mm-hmm. But we knew they were going to be competitive. And then Detroit, what was everybody saying about him last year? They need a goaltender. They need a goaltender. What did they do? They went and got one of the best ones who was available in John Gibson. He didn't start well, but he's been playing well since.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is the Atlantic really that bad? Or is it just upside down a little bit because so many players on the best teams are injured?
Well, I think it's a mixture of both. I think that the Atlantic is still one of the toughest divisions across the league. When you look at
Ian's comment.
Yeah, I need to stop reading the comments while I'm trying to talk. So I think if you look at the division, if you step away from the injuries, if you look at the division historically we'll just even go back the last 10 years, there were 3 or 4 teams in the mix, but one of them was always running away with the division. And for a majority of the time, it was the Bruins or Tampa Bay. Now Florida's in there. Toronto's been in there a little bit. Toronto's always been like, we're going to make the playoffs, but we're not going to do much in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're going to finish second or third, and we're going to play Tampa, and we're going to play
the
Boston,
Bruins,
and we're going to lose.
Yeah, and we're going to get bounced and whatever. But it was always like Buffalo was an afterthought. Ottawa was an afterthought. Montreal for a while was an afterthought. Well, now, because of injuries and retooling in some of the teams, they're all kind of there.
Yeah.
Like when Florida gets healthy, and it may not be this year, it may be next year. But when Florida gets healthy, if they're able to bring back their players too, do they all of a sudden become the powerhouse that they were the last 2 years?
Well, it's funny that you should say that. Most of their players that they would want to keep are already signed and under contract for next year too.
Right.
Like they have their free agency class this year is Greer, Schwind, Kunin, Gregor, and Samoskevich, who's an RFA. And then they have 3 defensemen. And the only one that people probably will have heard of is Jeff Petrie.
Right. Well, and then, in Florida, there's the whole tax issue that's the only reason why people want to play in Florida. That was sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, no one wants to play for a team that's won back-to-back Stanley Cups. No one ever wants to join that team. No. So,
and no one wants to play for Paul Maurice.
Or with Matthew Tkachuk.
Or Alexander Barkov.
Right. Like, they don't have any draws other than palm trees. They have palm trees, too. Let's not forget that, because that's why people don't want to go to Buffalo. They need palm trees. Can I also just say maybe, Kevin, I know you've been kind of conversing back and forth a little bit here in the comments, but can the Bruins possibly just be this good? They are still the only team that has handed Colorado a regulation loss.
I again will say it. I've said it 100 times. If this team stays healthy, which they're not right now, but if they're fully healthy, they're going to fight for the division lead.
And now we bring in Kevin's comment of, you guys haven't done a what if segment in a while. What if they don't stay healthy?
That's not Kevin, that's Ian.
I said, sorry, Ian. Ian's question or comment. No, like you said, right now they're not healthy. And the way this team plays, this is why one of the big reasons why I don't necessarily have them at that top spot in the division, but more so competing for third or a wild card, because the way this team plays is brutal on their bodies, and they're going to navigate injuries all season. Now, McAvoy's fluke, it was a puck to the face, but to say that McAvoy wasn't going to suffer any type of long-term injury this year, can't be sure of. It just happens to be a puck to the face and not, a bone bruise from a puck to the shin. You know what I mean? Whoop, did I lose you?
No.
Okay. Sorry, my computer was just yelling at me. My AirPods are dying, so I didn't know if I lost you. You just switched over to my computer. That's all. Let's see. Kevin says, is what I believe is part of the reason for their placement in the standings. Coaching. The Bruins are right in the mix to win the conference. Just trying to catch up on a few of these to see if there's anything that, let's see. Kenny says, I wouldn't. They already won 2 and would sign in Buffalo since they are due for a Stanley Cup. Big brain it.
I have to agree with Dom's comment, though. The difference between the East and the West. And there's always been a huge difference between the East and the West for a while now. Because everyone thought that Pittsburgh was going to be horrible this year.
Yeah, right. And they're right in it. But for those who aren't reading it on the screen, he says the difference between East and West is the West's top teams have more bottom feeders to feast off of right now. The East has more parity. And that couldn't be more accurate. Even Nashville has only won 6 games. Mm-hmm. They've played 20 games. They have found a way to lose 14 times. That's tough.
St. Louis has only won 6 games.
Yeah. Calgary's only won 5.
Right.
Those are the bottom feeders, and those are the 3 that are going to start to look to make moves.
The one that makes me laugh, though, is Toronto's only won 9. Sorry.
I don't know. I kind of like the fact that St. Louis has only won 6, because remember when some of us said that Jim Montgomery might not be a good coach? Last time I checked, some of the people in St. Louis are ready to move on from him every bit as much as some of the guys in Toronto are ready to move on from Craig Berube. Maybe those 2 teams should just switch coaches.
Oh, God, no. Can you imagine Montgomery in Toronto?
I know.
He would get eaten alive. Actually, that might be a good thing.
There was a game where he was, and I think they talked about it on Short Shift. There was a game where he was singing along during a timeout that his team took. His assistant coach is over there writing the play out on the whiteboard.
Yeah, but that's Monty. That's how he was. Because when he called the time, when it was situational and they were doing plays, it was never Montgomery. It was always Leach.
I know, but
it was either always Leach or it was always Sacco. It was never Montgomery that was doing the play on the board. It was never Montgomery. That's just.
But it's Sturm sometimes with the Bruins, unless it's Spot.
Okay, but again, we're not talking. We're apples and oranges. We're not talking apples and orange.
Former player, bald man.
Right. Well, and the other thing is that Sturm is not only a former player, he's a former player in Boston.
Oh, yeah. And how much you want to bet, and you might know this better than I, but I'd be willing to bet that you talked about unobstructed views in the conversations between Tuukka and Raycroft and Bergeron and how Bergeron explains things as a forward. How much do you want to bet Sturm talks exactly that same language and knows it just as much as Bergie?
Well, and especially since Sturm also was coaching in the AHL last year.
Kenny, God forbid a bald guy catches a vibe. There was a comment. Kevin said, or Kenny says, I wouldn't. Oh no, that was the big brain comment. Tonight will be a good measuring stick, as Kevin points out. Ian says people in Buffalo don't even want to be in Buffalo, which is true.
Except for Bill's Mafia.
Well, yeah, but they're not rooting for Sabres. It's not the Sabres Mafia. They
Well, he said people in Buffalo. He didn't specify which Buffalo.
Fair. The good Buffalo or the Sabres Buffalo.
Listen, I would take Josh Allen over anyone, so.
Yeah. For now. We'll see.
Don't be dissing my Josh Allen.
Just saying, we'll see if that changes in a couple of years.
You know that I'm a Bills fan, right?
I know. Okay. Just saying, you might be wishing someone else down the road, when they continue to not win Super Bowls. Kevin says, so could we possibly look at it in this ways, no, at least I didn't get slapped this time. Where there's really only a handful of can't miss teams without a good portion of mediocre good ones, with a little more than a handful of bottom feeders. No, I think more of these teams in the East are better than people are giving them credit for. Detroit, Montreal, Ottawa in particular, they have been amongst a rebuild for admittedly a very long time, but it's a matter of time before the youth in those organizations start to figure out their way, and they are starting to do that. So Dom says, the thing I remember most about Baldy is every time the camera was on him, he was touching his nose. Yeah, anyway. We were talking about the road trip. We really got off of that one.
Oh.
Anyway, do you consider 5 points on this trip a success?
Out of possible 8? Yeah, of course.
What would you consider a failure? Like, what's the maximum they could earn and still have it be considered a failure on the trip, given how banged up they are? But before I have you answer that, Kevin says, no, that's for the whole league, not just the East. No, Kevin, I would apply what I said across the whole league too. I think New York is better than people are giving them credit for. Columbus is better than people are giving them credit for. Philadelphia is a tougher out than people wanted to give them credit for during the coming into the season. The Rangers are still trying to sort things out, but they still have the ability to win games, mostly only on the road right now. But if they can figure it out at home.
You're naming off East teams. He said not just the East.
I'm getting there. Oh. Before I only listed off the Atlantic. Edmonton is going to figure it out. They always do. Goaltending will still likely be their downfall. But their defense overall has been fine so far. Do we really think San Jose is the 6th worst team in the Pacific right now? Do you really think they're that much worse than Seattle or the Kings? I don't think so. Calgary and Vancouver. Vancouver's got a few things to sort out, but they can easily turn it back around. So,
right, but you're also, if you're looking at those, San Jose is only 4 points away from the Ducks. It's not this huge gap.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, every team is in it right now, with the exception of like 3.
Right.
And we know at least one of those 3, actually really 2 of those 3, Nashville and St. Louis, are open for business. So, and then so Kevin obviously follows it up with, so what teams would you say in the league are legit cup contenders, can't miss consensus? We'll come back to that. Dom says Beecher will bring life to the club in Calgary. So
him and his 0 for 3 face-off.
Yeah, he's going to win so many face-offs for them. Anyway, I had posed a question to you before, and I don't even remember what it was. Oh, the road trip.
Oh. An absolute failure is coming back 0-4-0. That's an absolute failure if they come back winless on the road trip again. Absolute failure. I would say, I mean, if we're going 4 games, 1-1 would be, that's at least
3.
That's 3 points. That's not great, but at least it's not, as long as you're getting 2 points against the Eastern Conference team. Because you forget that they're playing New York in the 4th game.
Yeah.
I would like to see it be 2-1-1. I would love 4-0-0. I mean, obviously, I would love for them to sweep it. I don't think that they're gonna sweep it. I don't know. I think that if they can pull out 2 wins,
like, that's where I sit there and I go 4 points versus 5 points is 4 points. Now the worst case scenario, like you said, is 0-4-0. If they go 0-4, they take every game to OT and they lose. But they're losing competitive games that they take to overtime, and you're losing because you got Celebrini, Smith, and a defenseman out there for San Jose. You've got Ziegler.
Hold on for a second. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
If you've got that kind of speed for the Ducks out there and you lose, like, I don't really feel as bad about those losses, especially because they're not in conference or in division. So, like, if you get we just got confirmation it's Korpisalo tonight for Boston. I don't know.
I already knew that. I already did my lineup.
I've been doing the show. I haven't seen yours. I just got another one confirming it, I guess. Kevin says I'd take 500 and feel okay. Well, are you feeling okay because you want them to win, or are you feeling okay because you want them to lose, Kevin? Are we still rooting for the losses over there for you, Kevin? Dom says, I'll take 1, 1, and 2 with no more injuries.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with 1, 1, and 2. I'd be okay with even
Kevin, just so you don't forget, Drake May is here and he's only getting better, and the Bills are in for a rude awakening. This is our division. We'll do football another time, Kevin.
Yeah. Anyways, what was that? So
how would you feel about 0-4?
Yeah, I mean, if they go 0-4, it's like the beginning of the season when they were losing those close games, but at least they're getting a point out of every game. I don't know if that's a morale booster for the team. If they can't get over that hump, I don't know if that would actually be worse than going 1, 1, and 2 or 1, 2, 1. You know what I mean? Being 0-4, I think that may be worse than if they went 1, 2, 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It also kind of depends on how those losses occurred too. Because if you have a broken stick in overtime like Zadorov did a year ago, yeah, it's a kick in the groin at the time, but like it's much easier to move past that kind of OT loss.
Okay, but also, is it an OT loss because you blew a 3-goal lead, or because you came back from you know what I mean, from a 3-goal?
That's going to play a factor. How they get there is
those are all going to play factors. So I think
point out real quick, we've converted Kevin. Kevin says they're not finishing out of the playoffs. So he wants them to win.
Okay.
2 weeks. It took us 2 weeks to convert Kevin. Now we just need some sort of celebration, like.
Where's my balloons?
Confetti.
Celebration. I got balloons one time. Where are they? Balloons.
I don't know how you got those. Like, we figured out the heart one.
Yeah. The heart one's the easy one.
Thumbs up one that happened at one point. I don't know.
I can't figure it out.
I don't know. I was going to go back to Kevin's comment about the legit cup contenders, but we can save that for another time too.
Yeah.
But Kevin says you haven't converted me. It's just a reality of what's happening with the team. Yeah, but Kevin, it was the reality 2 weeks ago. And you just didn't believe us? Didn't want to believe us? I don't know. It's okay. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard the Sturm train.
Bus.
I'm sorry. Bus. The Sturm bus.
The Sturm bus.
That's right. Bus has bus damage.
Definitely drives the bus.
Yes. Well, I mean, that was his analogy anyway, so he wants it to be a bus. Anyway.
And I'm good with it. Yeah, I'd rather him be a bus driver than a train conductor.
Fair enough. So next week we have the last game of the road trip. They're on the island playing the Islanders at 7:00. Are we looking to move the show to Tuesday or Thursday around that?
I'm not doing a show Thanksgiving night.
Oh yeah, that's right. Thursday's Thanksgiving. So Tuesday? Ooh, Ian's thrown an idea out there. You guys should do a live watch when it's the Pats play the Bills. I don't know if she could handle that loss.
Excuse you?
Kevin says, yeah, the reality 2 weeks ago was they could go either way, really bad or on a tear. Then they went on a tear, so win. Kevin, that's what we said they could do. I'm letting her get the shock of a Bills loss to the Patriots out of her brain. Kenny says, Bruins can win and still have a high pick. I could cheer for the Bruins to win and the Leafs to lose and get both. Life is good.
Yeah, the Leafs really hate the fact that they lost Mitten for Carlo.
Zadorov is wearing the third A tonight. Fluto just tweeted that out.
Well, he is the next captain.
If you ask some, yeah. Kevin says Gayle wouldn't be very hard watching the Bills lose on live stream. Kenny, Gayle slaps Dom, Gayle slaps Chris, Gayle slaps Chris, Gayle slaps Chris. 100.
You're not wrong, Kenny. Listen, all right. Back to the Bruins, away from the Bills.
Away from the slapping.
Who said anything about getting away from the slapping? No. So realistically, this road trip, it depends, again, on what the defense shakes out in front of Swayman and Corpy. You got to remember, who is in net against Colorado? I'm having a brain cramp. Not Colorado, Carolina.
Swayman.
That was his first loss in 6 games.
That sounds about right. Yeah. And the team in front of him was not great.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't blame him for going Korpisalo tonight because you just had all that travel. Korpisalo is going to be the fresher of the two. Tonight's the Corpy game. I mean, on this road trip, I really wouldn't be surprised if you went Korpisalo, Swayman, and then hit Swayman again for, well, no, you could easily do Korpisalo in the afternoon game at home against the Rangers. Although it's a road game for the Rangers, so they might actually play well. You might want Swayman in that one.
Right, but the thing is, there's enough time that if you go, you could go Korpisalo, Swayman, because there's enough time between the games.
Yeah, but you got the back-to-back on the Friday, Saturday when you get back.
Right. So, but what I'm saying is you could go Corpy, Swayman. You could put Swayman again against New York and then Corpy against Detroit.
I guess the question is, do you want to put Swayman against the team that's competing with you right now for first place in the division?
Well, I think I think in all honesty, the way the goaltenders are playing, it's indicative of the team in front of them. So I think it depends on, because the goals that they're giving up, sorry. I think the goals that they're giving up, there's a couple in there that you're like, oh, you should have had that.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of those. Not like last year where you were like pulling your hair out, like what are these goaltenders doing? That's not that. So the goal, even in the wins and losses, you know what I mean? Like, you're not looking at Swayman saying he's out of position or he's giving up soft goals, or you're not looking at Korpisalo and thinking those things. You know what I mean? So I think that it's not necessarily, do you want Swayman playing against the team you're battling for first place, because there's still 5 games between them and Detroit right now. Detroit could all of a sudden take a nosedive and Montreal could be back in the lead again.
Yeah, it's a close race, so we'll see how they do it. Kevin says, as long as Connor Geekie scores tonight, I'll be good. So that means I should put money on Zacha to score? Is that what that means?
I think one of the things that we have to keep in mind is that it has to be someone other than 39, 88, 27, and 91 stepping up, to quote Marco Sturm.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Matej Blumel does after his first game. It wouldn't be the first time. We saw it with Steves as well, where his second game was significantly better than the first. Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious to see how he does now that he's gotten some feedback from that game, been able to watch tape from that game, process. No, it's not the same kind of bump that other players would be getting, because he's more of a veteran of it. But like, I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if he got 1 or 2 tonight. It could happen. He certainly knows how to find the back of the net. It's just, can he do it against Dostal, or is he just playing so well? I mean, we'll see him in the Olympics. So,
can we discuss the new dress code?
Okay, but before we do, I have to ask: did you see? Just speaking of dress, did you see the jerseys for the outdoor game in Florida?
Ugh, yes. I had to laugh at short shifts.
Breakdown.
The 70-year-old man's legs. Yeah. Oh my God, I nearly spit out my drink at work.
Shout out Thomas for that one. That's it. Yep, dress code. Go ahead. That's all. Your reaction.
I don't like the new casual. I don't like it for the NHL. I like the suits, or at least professional look. Like the other day, Geeky showed up like he was going to a construction site.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see him? He had like a Carhartt jacket on.
Kevin, if you have not seen the jerseys, I will send them to you. They are for the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers. And that Florida Panther looks anorexic.
Yeah, his legs.
Oh, his legs are in general, it looks like an anorexic panther, but yes, the legs are, they're toothpicks.
Yeah.
The tapered end of a toothpick, not the middle thick part either.
Someone tweeted that it looked like AI back in the 1970s or something like that. Yeah. No, I don't like the casual looks. I don't like it looks like
Kevin's gonna Google it, so I want to see his reaction. Kevin, put your reaction in the comments. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all right. It's like, it's too, like, that was one thing the NHL had over the other sports, because football, they don't care. NBA, they don't care. The NHL always was professional, and to me it was, it was just so much better. But now it's like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And it just brought it up because the Bruins tweeted, because Hampus Lindholm's still in a suit, and it says, this man doesn't know casual, because some of the other players are very casual. And
I feel like we're going to still see that level of professionalism from the Europeans.
Yeah.
I really think it's mostly going to be the U.S. players, even to some degree, some of the Canadian players, but even the Canadian players, like a lot of them still do shirt and tie at the youth level. So like most of them will carry that. Like you said, it's a way of carrying yourself. And I mean, do I think it should be you have to wear, like, I don't think the league should mandate that they do it, but I do think a team in of itself, a team like the Bruins, because of the way they handle themselves and the way they claim to be as an organization, they should hold themselves to that standard.
Well, and that's like even like, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a suit either. Like the other night, Nikita Zadorov had a very nice black 3-button polo with nice dress pants. I'm okay with that. Even Geeky tonight had like a teal green polo, which is kind of, I don't know. And like his pants are a little too short, but
Ian, what are you trying to say? I'm currently wearing a Carhartt jacket.
You're not walking into an arena about ready to put the Spoke B on and skate on the ice.
Real quick,
walk into an arena with a Spoke B on, but your name's not on the back of the jersey.
Right. Two things. Kenny says that the Flames are looking like they'll go 1-0 in the John Beecher era, so hooray for them. And then Dom says that he's getting the Ducks feed tonight, so now he's disappointed he won't get dining playbook. Kevin's seen the jersey, and his first reaction is WTF, that is a Temu Panther with peg legs. And then describes him as the most atrocious jerseys he's seen in a while. We have Meth Bear, but they have Bath Salts Panther. Isn't that more like Meth Head Panther? Really? Kenny says we did shirt and tie at the youth level or team apparel for road games. Yeah, I know, Dom. Dress code was part of the CBA. Players wanted it out. Seems like that's the only leverage thing that the players got, though. Like, there really wasn't a lot that the players got, and if they wanted it that bad, then fine.
John Beecher, 13 shifts, 9 minutes, 9 minutes, 49 seconds, 2 shots, 1 block shot, 1 hit.
That's his best game all season if he took 2 shots.
Shorthanded time on ice, 2 minutes, 36 seconds. Face-off losses, 1. Face-off wins, 0.
Well, he's kept that streak going. Yeah. Let me just see if he had. Oh. Wait, shots. So he got 1 shot tonight, you said?
2.
2. Sorry. The last time he got 2 shots on goal in a game was October 19th against Utah. The game before that, which was the Colorado loss, he got 3 shots on goal. He had 6 shots with the Bruins. He was averaging 1 shot per game, so he is still on pace for that. No, Dom, it was not the first hit of his career. But I bet
so the question is, will John Beecher get a video tribute? when Calgary comes to Boston in January.
It's January?
January 8th.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry. Boston goes out to Calgary before Calgary comes here. Does John Beecher get a video?
Is it wrong where I sit here and I go, I think they'll do it? They shouldn't, but I think they will. Like, they'll give him something. Even if it's like 30 seconds compared to a 3-minute video that they should do for Marchand, like, they're going to do something. Ian says, I am a 5'9" and body of an elderly man who would get killed in under 30 seconds on the ice. Kenny says Dom is missing out. I can't imagine getting through a Nesson game without Jenny get your bearings. Kevin says no, they actually do bath salts in Florida, so it's not whatever I said, which is fine. Yeah, unfortunately I do think Beecher will get some semblance of a tribute video. Again, that's not me saying he deserves one or should get one. It's just what they do. Didn't like Corrali got one his first time back, right?
Corrali also played a little bit longer.
I know, but like you could make the argument Corrali didn't need one or deserve one either. So I just think if Corrali got one, Beecher is going to get one. They're just doing them for everybody. So I did just notice the time, though. We've got like 5 minutes before puck drop. So
Corrali played 6 seasons in Boston.
Okay.
Beecher played
6 games in Boston.
Huh?
Beecher played 6 games in Boston.
Right.
3 seasons, yeah. But he was a well-liked first-round draft pick. Oh, no. I don't know if I can use well-liked in that one. Some people liked him.
Yeah.
John Beecher's video would just be him taking warm-ups and winning face-offs. And speed. He's got to be showing off that speed. Dom Beecher's video tribute should be highlights of Providence. Isn't that what they're going to do when Fabian Liesel returns? Is all his Providence highlights after they move on from Liesel?
You're making the assumption if they move on for him, he actually cracks an NHL lineup.
Fair point. Yes.
All right, we're going on 2 hours, bud.
Do you have any? I know you mentioned, we talked briefly about them. Do you have anything that you want to add on the fleet before we sign off?
Yes. I have a lot on the fleet.
Forget.
Huh?
So the floor is yours.
All right. So first off, we know that they named Megan Keller captain. That was kind of a given. We knew that was going to happen. Tomorrow they're doing a virtual media availability with GM Danielle Marmer, the head coach Chris Spar, and Megan Keller. They released 4 players from their camp tryouts today. The one I am absolutely shocked about is Chloe Arude, Bussy. I don't know. She just got married. I forget what her married name is. But considering her and Alina Mueller played 5 seasons together at Northeastern and were elite together, I was shocked that she got released. So their first game is Sunday.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
What time on Sunday? And is it home
1 o'clock? They kick off at 1 o'clock against Montreal at the Songa Center in Lowell.
Anyway.
Yours truly will be there.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. I'm going to have to try to get to a few of those this year because they're fun watches on TV. I can only imagine they're that much more fun in person.
Yes. And I'd like to point out the games will all the fleet games will be on NESN. They are not NESN broadcasts. It is the league broadcasting through NESN's airwaves.
Are they still doing all the broadcasts on YouTube?
I was going to add and they're all free on YouTube, but it's the same broadcast you see on TV.
I still don't trust the NESN app.
Right. Their crews work across the league. Like they have crews that work. So all the Canadian games will be on YouTube, but they'll also be on Sportsnet. All the fleet games will be on NESN, but they'll also be on YouTube. New York is on MSG, but they're also on YouTube. And then the Minnesota games are on whatever their RSN is plus. So all the games are still free on YouTube. So even if you want to watch Montreal versus Ottawa, you can watch it on YouTube free.
Funny. It's almost like they want people to watch their product.
That was a commitment that they have made and they're sticking to it.
Good. Awesome. Well, with that, we are about to have puck drop coming up any moment here. I don't have NESN turned on just yet. I got to go flip over to that, but
yeah, I don't have my TV on.
With that, I got nothing else. Do you have anything else on the bees or anything like that?
Anyone staying up? Enjoy. Try and make it through. Hopefully the game is more exciting than the Carolina game.